What it do, y'all? So, it's your girl Swaggy B, and I am here to go ahead and bring you guys this swatch video. It is extremely late, but sometimes it's better to be late than not at all. These are all of my highlighters. I have been slowly showcasing swatch videos the last couple of months of 2024, featuring different collections that I currently have, and I may continue on in 2025 with my current 2024 collection. It just depends on how much time I have with all of these items that are currently still in my collection. But regardless, this is my highlighter collection as of right now. You guys will be seeing a declutter video featuring all of my cheek products next week, so stay tuned for that. But I'm just going to do what I've done with all of my swatch videos. I'm going to organize these alphabetically, and then I'm just going to go ahead and swatch them for you guys. This is meant to be just a capsular collection for anybody who is interested in any one of these shades on my skin tone. You can also use these as a reference point in case there is a comment that I make in the future about a particular shade reminiscing to any of these different products, especially if I happen to get rid of any of the products that I particularly mentioned. So like I said, I'm just going to get all of these in alphabetical order and then we'll swatch them. And next week you guys will see all of the swatch videos that I posted as of right now, which is the bronzer, blush, and now highlighter decluttered. So yeah, I hope this helps for anybody who is interested. Give me 1 second and I will be right back with the first highlighter. First product that I'm going to talk about is from Adept Cosmetics. This is a highlighter palette, but I do keep this in my highlighter drawer, so that's why I'm talking about it right now. And this is their Stella palette. So this is a really beautiful kind of shimmery blush topper depending on your skin tone and highlighter palette, and it's really pretty, very smooth highlighters. I like that it's a curated collection of highlighters and it's not like 5 to 10, which we used to get a lot of highlighters and like a highlighter palette. Very pretty. I will say if you do try to use these as like blush toppers, they're quite shiny, and yeah, otherwise really pretty. And yeah, I believe that's still available. If it's still available, I will try to mention it, but a lot of this stuff I won't be linking because it's just so many products. This is About Face's highlighter, and this is their Light Lock in the shade Stay in Bed. This is a very dry highlighter in my opinion, in the sense that once you pick it up, it just kind of doesn't really have the shimmer that even those Adept Cosmetics do. It might just be that this is just not the perfect shade for my skin tone, but I do tend to reach for these types of shades, so that's why I picked it up. And then I have another one from About Face. This is their Cream Stick in Reluctance, and this is a really pretty kind of bronzy stick. I won't say I get a lot of use out of it because it's very kind of a hard gold, if that makes sense. I tend to do stuff that melts into my skin a little bit better, whereas this is a very hard yellow gold and I find it does not melt into my skin the way I would like. But great formula. I will say that it does blend very easily and it applies very easily, just not the perfect shade for me. Clionadh Cosmetics came out with these fruit lighters in collaboration with Emily Violet Marie, and I have the shade in Tropicano. This is a really beautiful highlighter, great formulation. I always intended to go back to get another shade. I just never did, mainly for the fact that I don't really wear highlighter like that anymore. It's not as kind of important as it has been, but as you can see, this is a stunning highlighter. There's so much beautiful sparkle in it. There is a shift in the actual coloring. It really brings something that you really would not get otherwise. Of course, just because it's a highlighter, you don't have to only wear it on your cheeks. You can wear it on your face as well, and your eyes and all that jazz. It's such a beautiful, stunning shade and fantastic formula here. I have 3 highlighters from Dior, and these are all things that I've had for quite some time. I will say, I didn't say in the beginning, for me, keeping powder products for a very long time is not as kind of offensive as creams. So just kind of tailor it towards what is best for you, and you'll see that explanation a little bit more pertinent in my declutter. So this is the Dior Backstage palette. I have this in copper gold. This is quite old. This was releasing towards, I want to say, the 2nd or 3rd year that I was getting into makeup. Very, very beautiful neutral highlighters. I did, of course, have my favorite, as you can see by the pans. This was definitely my favorite. I really got so much use out of this little palette. Absolutely loved it. I could get use out of these 3 shades. This one was too dark for me, but really pretty palette. Absolutely stunning, and I learned so much in highlighter just using this one, of course, throughout the years. The other 2 highlighters that I have from Dior are in their luminizer formulation. So this is 04, which is a permanent shade, and then this is 07, which was a limited edition shade. So 04 is like a beautiful kind of bronzy, smooth shadow. Nothing really crazy or outstanding about that shade. I will just be honest about it. But this is the gem in my opinion. This is 07, and it shimmers. Let me move these so you guys can see a little bit better. This one shimmers off my skin just a little bit more. There's iridescence running all throughout it. It's just outstanding. I really, really love this shade between these 2. But overall, I will say this formula, it does not swatch, I would say, the best, but it really brings something to the table once you've got it on your cheeks and you're really moving your face. Really great formula. Highly recommend Dior stuff. They're just really expensive. So of course, you know, buy them in moderation when you can, if you can. Otherwise, there's definitely other alternatives. You don't have to buy Dior. This is the collaboration between Desi and Katie in the shade Chasing the Sun. This was the highlighter that started me to wear highlighters. And for that reason, I have been extremely emotional in keeping this. This has just been one of those things that for me, it set that trend. This was and is a very metallic formulation, but it's a beautiful, smooth metallic. It really just sets off on my skin tone. And I absolutely love this formula. It is quite old, but I'm telling you, if you got this, I hope you cherished it for however long you kept it in your collection. Even if you did not hit pan, this was such a beautiful formula. And Dose of Colors never, to my knowledge, came out with a range with this formulation, and they really should have. There's a lot of brands that I think really missed the boat on not extending ranges for limited edition products that were very, very popular. This is a Game Beauty highlighter in the shade Geo, and this is a very typical shade for me to reach for. It's like a goldy white yellowy shimmer. It's absolutely stunning. Very, very pretty shade. It does have small kind of shimmers running throughout it, which I do appreciate. And it really does give a little bit more to that yellow than that gold. So it just works for my skin tone. Then we have the Givenchy highlighter. I've had this for quite some years, and this is in the shade Shimmery Gold. This is very nostalgic as well, because I got this on the first trip I met with a friend online. We met through Twitter, and we got to know each other, and we still text to this day, which I really like. I don't really have a lot of friends that are really into makeup nearly as much as I am. So that was really nice to find her in throughout the crowd. Anyways, though, this is a beautiful highlighter, but it just never applied on my skin as beautiful as it did in store. There was a shimmery aspect to this highlighter that was just beautiful in store, and I just never got that finish in person. And I've just been keeping it just because it was so expensive, but I already spent my money, so it might be time for this one to go. The one half caked highlighter that I have, although I think I had a cream compact, but it always finds its way in the blush collection, so I apologize. But anyways, this is the half caked highlighter in Pop Star, and you guys will have seen me do a full review on all of my products that I picked up from Half Caked, including this. I just find that this is not a highlighter. There's just not enough shimmer. As you can see, it's really dull. It pretty much looks like it could be a cream highlighter, depending on your skin tone. It's just not something that I got any enjoyment when I was reviewing this brand. I was extremely disappointed, and so it's not going to be a hardship for me to let this go in this year. I have two highlighters from Half Magic, and I picked these both up I think when I was just kind of more organically getting into this brand. I believe this was the first of the two that I picked up, which is this like hockey puck, or I think they call it a glitter puck in Dopamine. Absolutely love this highlighter. As you can see, it is like a gel type formula, but once you pick it up, it does have kind of a powdery effect. I would say it is pretty much what the name suggests, which is a glitter puck, but it's just so beautiful on the skin. I absolutely love it. I get so much use out of this. And yeah, I would highly, highly recommend this one. As far as the like more powdered formulation that they have, I will say this is definitely drier in the sense that it's an actual powder. It does feel creamy for a powder, but if you have this one, it just doesn't do the same, right? There's just no justice to it, unfortunately, if it's from the same brand. But if you're somebody who does not like glitter, which I completely understand, or does not like the finish that this does on maybe your textured skin, this other one is a good alternative. I will say that. House Labs is next, and I'm honestly surprised I only have one highlighter from them. This is the one that I've had since the beginning of me trying this brand, and this is such a beautiful shade in my opinion. It is Fire Opal. I know some people said that they just did not like this product and they could not get it to pick up. I've not ever had a problem picking this shade up, and I think it just really sets off on my skin. It's this orangey red kind of yellow yellow sprinkles all throughout, not sprinkles, glitter, very fine glitter all throughout. It's absolutely stunning on my cheeks. I really, really love this. And when I wear an orangey blush with this on top, you cannot speak to me. You really can't even sit in on the area that I'm at. So I absolutely love this highlighter, and I would highly recommend. Iconic London, not a brand a lot of people talk about, but this is a stunning shade as well. And this is in the shade So Cheeky. It looks like it would be too dark, and it doesn't look like it would be up my alley, but this is so smooth, and on the cheekbones, it just shines. It really just shines. I really don't know what it is about this formula. It is very kind of nondescript, but I absolutely love it on the cheeks. And I would recommend this. I have looked into potentially getting other shades, but I didn't see any other shades that I would be interested in, so I never did. But great, great shade. Juvia's Place, I have two different highlighters. One's a liquid highlighter, and I've told you guys time and time again that this is going to be the last year that I really even explore liquid cheek products. They typically just don't work for me. If anything, I'd like the liquid bronzers, but even then I tend to kind of let those go as well because they always disappoint me personally. So this is their liquid their liquid highlighter in the shade Golden Hour. And I also have a powdered highlighter from them in volume 1. And this is quite dark. I can make it work. It's such a beautifully creamy formula. But this is a little dark for my skin, or the shades that I like to reach for. I do like a lighter tone to really lift that area, but it's a fantastic formula. I would just probably get a shade lighter in this formula if I wanted to keep it long term. I have 2 remaining highlighters from Caladios, and I've definitely wheedled down my collection. I used to have, I think, 5 or 6, and slowly I've just gotten rid of the shades that I just was not using. So this one is Laser Glazer. I believe this actual version of this shade is no longer available. And then I have Mars Melter. I really like both of these shades, but I don't really get a lot of use out of this formula anymore. No rhyme or reason. It's just not a formula I get a lot of use out of. Mainly this greener tone, it's just harder for me to wear, whereas this redder tone is easier for me to wear. But great formula, little see-through, which really helps for it to work for a wide range of skin tones. And then you get that iridescent tinge, and it's nice. It's nice. I really do like this formula. I hate the packaging. This one's all sticky and nasty. This one's a lot better, but the packaging is just so thick for no reason, no apparent reason. Lunar Beauty has found a gem in this formulation, and this is in the shade Jupiter. I know that he has, I think, 3 or 4 shades in this range, but I would say this is the best shade out of all of them. Not only is this the perfect kind of tone for my skin tone, it's a bronze, but like it's a warmer kind of more coppery bronze, but there's also shimmers running throughout. Absolutely love this formulation. I do know that the other formulations don't actually have that shimmer. So in case you are somebody who has a lighter skin tone and wants to try this formulation, you can without that shimmer. I just think that this combination for me is perfect. That's why this got so much use at the beginning of me having it in my collection. I definitely have geared away towards wearing highlighter a lot, but I do hope to wear some more highlighter in 2025, so I get more use out of all of the shades that I have. This is a MAC shade that I refuse to ever get rid of, and this is Snow Flushed. It's in their Extra Dimension finish. This is such a beautiful shade, absolutely stunning. This is a duochrome. It goes from like a nudie kind of bronze to an orangey tone. Right now you guys see the pink that's in between. Absolutely stunning. There's sparkles running all throughout. I've had this for absolute years, and this is going to be one of those products where, like I said, I don't find such offense keeping powder products for a very long time, as long as they bring me joy and I'm happy with them, and that is definitely one of them. Melt Cosmetics, I only have one highlighter from them, and this is in the shade Genesis. And honestly, I forgot that I had this highlighter. This is definitely not a highlighter that I've gotten a lot of use out of. It's a little bit more on the metallic finish than I would have hoped. I would have hoped that it had a little bit more shimmer running throughout, a little bit more sparkle here or there. I do remember trying this out and that it did work beautifully on my skin tone. So yeah, we'll see if it makes it in. Merit, this is one of my prized possessions from Merit Beauty. Not a lot of their products really last in my collection long term, just because of the way that I do makeup and the way that their products are intended to be used. I really love their foundation stick, and this is another product that I absolutely love. I have this in the shade Citrine. I have previously had other shades that they sent to me because I was affiliated with the brand for a little bit, and they were giving me some PR, but I decluttered the shades that didn't work for me. This doesn't look like much, I understand, but when it's put on the apples of my cheeks, it just shines. It shines beautifully. It has like that orangey kind of tone. Typically, that's the type of tone that I really love to reach for when it comes to highlighters. So Those are my bread and butter, but they have something in this formula that I've just not found in any other cream stick formula. Every time I try, I'm just extremely disappointed, and I'm always kind of comparing them to this. So it's gotten to a point where I just feel like there's no reason for me to buy any other shades or any other formulas. That's just going to be my cream stick formula for highlighter, you know? Alrighty, now we keep it going with Odin's Eye. Odin's Eye is a brand that I go through periods where I buy pretty much everything, and then I go through periods where I buy nothing. Right now I'm in that nothing period, so I don't have too many highlighters from them, but the ones that I do have, I do enjoy. So this is Warm Sunshine, which is a like white to yellow duochrome. Then I have Rose Sky, which is a white to pinky purple duochrome, except for this one has shimmer. And then I have Light Glory, which is actually more of a yellowy kind of gold highlighter. So I will go ahead and swatch all three of these. I will say this last one is a lot creamier than the other two. I believe they change their formula every time they release new shades, and as you can see, this first one really, it looks so dull compared to the other two. These two have a similar formulation, although this light one is a little bit more, this last one is a little bit more less compact. I do enjoy all of the shades, don't get me wrong, but there is a clear difference. So in case you are somebody who has tried the newer formula and then you decide to go back to the older formula, just know that One Size needs to bring this out. They need to relaunch this formula in an actual range for their brand. This is the Fantasia highlighter. I was obsessed with this highlighter. I put it down just because it's no longer available, and I always feel bad when people ask about this shade. It is the perfect shade for my skin tone. Absolutely stunning. I know it works for a lot of different skin tones. I think it has enough kind of a translucent base that this works for a wide range, because even Laura May Beauty, who is significantly lighter than my skin tone, absolutely loved this formulation and this shade. It's such a stunning shade. Oh, it's so good. I want this brand to come out with this in more shades. I need them to do that. I also have 3 different formulations and shades from Pat McGrath. Now, Pat McGrath has about 2 different formulas when it comes to her highlighters. So in her main range and permanent collection, she has this formulation, which is the glow highlighter, and I have the shade Bronze Mirage. In her limited edition collections that she does, she has a more sublime skin highlighter, and I have 2 shades, one in Venus Nude, and this one is the Bridgerton collection in 002. So this is more of a Baked Gelée formulation. I would highly recommend this formulation when it comes out. The key though is making sure it's a new shade. Sometimes she comes out with shades that are basically this one, but just different names. This Mirage formulation, I'm not going to say it's bad, but it is pretty much more of a basic Betty compared to the more skin finish or fetish range. So I'm just going to swatch all 3. And as you can see, nope, you can't see because my camera's focusing on the wrong thing. Let me move these out of frame so my camera focuses on my arm. So this one, although beautiful on color, is a lot flatter than these two. These two have sparkle running throughout. They also have a little bit more of a translucent base, so it works for a wider range. Again, very similar to that One Size formulation. And it's just overall such a better formulation, and I just get more enjoyment out of them. Don't get me wrong, I think that there is definitely a market and days when I'm going to reach for this formulation as well. But yeah, just so that you guys know, there is a difference between the formulations when it comes to Pat McGrath. One of the only pan cream highlighters that I have is from Phytosurgeons, and this is in the shade Astral Ablaze. I unfortunately just never got the concept of this product. I could never pick it up, and it did not look like what I think the creator or kind of founder wanted it to look like on my skin. I just never understood how to use this product, unfortunately, and so yeah, I've tried. I don't know how it's expected to work. And unfortunately, I didn't see any kind of instructions that helped on the website. Rare Beauty, I have two different formulas, not two different formulas, I have two different shades. One, which is my original, is in the shade Flaunt. As you can see, I've gotten a lot of use out of this one. And then the second one that I picked up is Reveal. So this is in this same formula. Let me make sure, because I know, yeah, this is the highlighter. And I thought that this was going to be a highlighter I can get away with. This is a very smooth formulation, and as you can see, it's domed. It is kind of baked, but Reveal is just dark. It's just dark. I can't get away with this. This is definitely meant for a darker skin tone, which is unfortunate. I do love my Flaunt, don't get me wrong, but I had hoped that I would be able to get away with this one as well. Shroud Cosmetics, I don't know if they're a brand. Apparently they may not be like actually still running, but I got a highlighter from them, and this is in Celestial Haze. This is a beautiful highlighter, absolutely stunning highlighter. It is a dual chrome, kind of multi-chrome thing where it looks pink in the pan, but it also goes to green. I absolutely love it. It works beautifully on the apples of my cheeks, and I do get a lot of use out of that. A great kind of no fuss, no muss highlighter is this one from Sigma, and this is in Golden Hour. It's a beautiful kind of bronzy golden color. It is smooth, but there's still something to this one where even though it's like a smooth metallic, it has some life to it. And so for that, I truly appreciate this highlight. REM came out with highlighters, and I got the shade Miss Jupiter. I really thought that this would be a good kind of addition to my collection. I try to get unique shades so I don't always have the same shades, but there's just something flat about this shade on my skin. It just doesn't give any justice to me, and so yeah, not a favorite, unfortunately, and yeah, it probably won't last through this declutter. I have two last formulations, and they're both creams. So this is a liquid from Unearthly Cosmetics, and this is in the shade Gilded. As I said before, I told myself that I would no longer kind of get any use out of these liquid formulations. Overall, it's just not a desired format that I like my highlighter to be in. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is a bad formulation, but to me it just takes too much to get the desired effect, and to me this just looks flat. In person, I definitely see the sparkles and the iridescence, but I don't know, it just is not a formulation type that I enjoy. And then the last product that I want to talk about in this video is from Victoria Beckham, and this is in the shade Amber. This is her cream highlighter stick, and there's something to it. There's definitely something to it. There's a sheen to it, and I do enjoy it. As you can see, it does give a more ambery tone. It's not as loved, in my opinion, as the Merit stick, but there is something to this, and for that I do appreciate it. That is the end of this swatch video of all of my highlighters. I hope that this video was helpful. I know that sometimes highlighters really, the swatch does not do them justice. It's really better to see them on the apples of my cheeks, but there's no way that I can swatch all of these on the apples of my cheeks. So I hope that this was helpful to some extent. Like I said, there will be a declutter video coming up next week for all of these products, blushes, bronzers, and highlighters, and I will be doing timestamps. So in case you just want to compare the highlighters that I've swatched here to the highlighters that I'm decluttering there, I will timestamp that video. But with that said, that's all I've got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.